Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Yo. What's up? What's up with that? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Peace and blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. It's good to be back. I hope you enjoyed your 4th. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. Shout out to my poets, my writers, so on and so forth. You know I got to give out my flowers to these good people, man, because they show up and show out. And these open mics, man, they'll always be in that time capsule. Special moments, laughter, just having good people around you. Everything ain't negative, you know what I'm saying? Don, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you for tapping in with us. This is going to be an interesting one. Sydney couldn't be with us today, but it's all good. We keep her in spirit. Definitely going to pull back up tomorrow. Let me go ahead and bring my brother up here, Mr. International himself. You dig? Go ahead, man. Plug your work. Plug your name. Let the people know who you are. What's good with you? How everything going, sir? Talk to me, man.
What up, though? Peace, everybody. It's your boy, International Rob, man. Teacher by day, rapper by night, head salesman, 25/8, 24/7, depending on who clock you on. Just put out a whole bunch of new music. Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Amazon, you name it. We outside, we trying to get it popping. Happy Monday.
Right on. When I came across this story, right? I thought, you know, it was a million things going through my head. I ain't gonna hold you. The first thing that I initially thought was, all right, they trolling, you know, because you get on the internet, either everything is being ran by AI now, everybody is using AI. So now it's like, how do you know when something is real or not? Or you just got people that's trolling just to be rage baiting, and they're trying to capture the attention of people's, you know, that's what I thought. But then it was like, all right, I started digging a little deeper. And yeah, apparently she's been taking pictures down. Uh it's it's like it's to the point to where some comments were made allegedly by Mr. Diggs himself. That's what I'm saying, Lachey. Uh and Fatima salutes. You don't really know what to believe when you get up here and you start scrolling social media, because everybody has an opinion. Everybody is out for one goal. When you're a content creator, you are trying to get the attention of the people, and it don't really matter how you go about it. As long as you get the job done, you're going to do it. That's one thing I hate about social media, and people who are doing like these covers and stuff like that. But from what I'm seeing, it's accurate. What I'm hearing is true. I need it's wild, bro. I know. Before I even go any further with this, man, what how you feel about this whole situation, man? Because I mean, think about it like this. She started out having a whole bunch of issues with Offset. They going back and forth over him not being in the children's life. He cheating. She doing this and a whole lot of it was just drama filled. They didn't have the healthiest relationship, you know, and
I'm listening. Go ahead.
the shit just messy, bro. It's just messy as shit. So I'm trying to reserve my opinions on it for now, because I want to get into it a little deeper. But initially, just how do you feel about her overall relationship patterns with Offset, with Stefon Diggs? Do you think that any of this was staged? Any of this was genuine? Like, I mean, just off of what you've observed the last couple years, what is your take on it?
I mean, first, I remember we said when we first started this, I was like, man, I ain't hating on nobody, man. You know, the facts be the facts or whatever. And I know my day coming tight. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? I hate it for her though, because I like Cardi, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know her, and I know that I finally changed from investing too much of my time into looking into, you know, celebrities' lives, but it's still a part of it. You know what I'm saying? To play whatever. But I hate it for her because I think one thing about the artists, I I I try to follow the ones who don't appear to be lying. And the way she came in, whatever, she doesn't appear to be lying. Um, I think that's the way she is. And from her aura, from what I see a lot of times, to me, she a stand-up person. Um, but the celebrity part, it seemed like all of them be doomed to a certain extent, like to where again, me being an upcoming artist and old too. You know, I'm about to be 45. I would hate to run into those walls. You know what I'm saying? If I start getting to these levels to where I can't have no positive relationship, I gotta lose everything, and then the drama. Because at the end of the day, they're at levels right now where bad news is good news, and I can see where you get to a point to where you have to keep yourself in the spotlight. You got to do something. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is off topic, but the homie Jimmy Jones said he was better than Nas. You know what I'm saying? And like the other guy said, I love the confidence, but then when he mentioned the Billboard achievements, it was kind of like, so back to them, like she looked at first with Offset, she looked happy, bro. Like for a while, it appeared that they was happy. You know what I'm saying? And then all of this, and one of my favorite rappers, my favorite rapper of all time, Cameron, he said, you can have a problem with your significant other or your brother, you know, a family member, and it's one thing. But when the media get involved, it almost becomes irreparable. So for her and Offset, Stefon Diggs, I hate it for them because all that stuff you got to do to get to the bag, and then all of this stuff is interference. You know what I'm saying? Ideally, it's crazy because it's like, why we can't just get to the music? You know, I hope for whatever he's doing, whoever he about to play for, he don't be a distraction. You know what I'm saying? Offset just lost his man. You know what I mean? I don't know how close they was, but it just seems like things just keep getting worse and worse. And then what I hated for is those children, because those children, they got phones and all of that too. You know what I'm saying? And if they not old enough yet, after a while, they're going to be seeing this stuff. And, you know, kids is harsh. And, you know, you don't want to be in school one day and they be like, yo, look, they said your mother stink. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of that, I don't like it. I'm sad about all of it, because for her especially, I know they said she did some crazy stuff, whatever. We know the way she came into the game, whoop-de-whoop. But even from like Love and Hip Hop, she seemed like a person who was true to her word.
When you get into the industry, I don't care if you're a vocalist, I don't care if you're a musician, background dancer, content creator. One thing that I know for certain, if you don't go into this understanding how cutthroat this is, you will absolutely be consumed. And what I'm saying is, and I kind of spoke on this yesterday, if you're someone who never had anything and then you get a certain level of success and nobody taught you and showed you how to navigate those perils that might eventually come to your doorstep, the temptations, the friends that come smiling at your every beck and call, coming off as if, you know, they have the best intentions for you. You get the women coming at you all dolled up. You got the men in your DMs. You got the men private messaging you, reposting, sharing. They showing up, wanting your autographs. You get this inflated system, like the person that you was before the money and all that. You get introduced to this world, and you find out that this shit is a lot more cutthroat than you really anticipated. It's horrible. It's not as pretty as people think it is. Everybody wants to be famous, and everybody wants to get to a place where they don't have to work again, but you also want to do what you love doing. But there's components to this that is a lot more complex than people really understand. You have to be grounded. You have to have God in your life. If you believe in God, you have to have a certain set of boundaries, morals, and principles that's going to protect you from the wiles of demonic energies and spirits and people who are under the control of worldly things. And I think that a lot of Cardi B's history is not it's not flattering to me. And I don't think it's flattering to a lot of men and women who stand on something. Like for her to, and I don't want to really dig too much in that, no pun intended, but you admit to robbing and drugging, I said drugging men, that's not a good look. Now let's say along the way you paid for that. Karma changed your life. So you no longer have that mindset, that hood ignorant mindset. So you want to do better. And I'm trying to segue into something. You go from being this woman who has been indoctrinated by a culture that I don't support. I don't support the ghetto hood mentality, shoot first, ask questions later. I don't support all of that lifestyle. We grew up on it. That don't mean that I have to advocate for it. So you came from this environment, you made it out. You go over here to where now you can actually do what you enjoy doing, making music, travel the world. You get to meet people that you would have never met before. You get to see things in this life that you probably wouldn't have if you were still stuck over here. You get introduced to these millionaires and all of these, and then what? What's next? Are you still yourself afterwards? Do you maintain the humble person that you were before you got the money? Or do you turn into someone that you don't recognize in the mirror anymore? You think like it's a joke when you start dealing with different people. These people change you for the worse or the better, depending on who they are and what kind of walk they got. I say this to say, her being how she was and Offset being who he is, I don't really need to know their entire background. I know enough based on what they show on social media to gather that this was a recipe for disaster. To me, other people might feel differently. You got a man who shouldn't have been with this woman, and a woman who shouldn't have been with this man, and actually the lifestyle drew them together. You see, like, put it this way, and I yield the mic. When you deal with the wrong type of people, this is the type of situations that you find yourself in. A man of God would not lead you astray. A woman of God would not lead you astray. They would never put you in danger or put you in harm's way. I don't think everybody is a God person. I'm not pushing that. That's my perspective. God leads, you can't go wrong. The lifestyle that both of them decided to choose put them on this path. So, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack here, man. That relationship crashes out. She's doing all of this horrible, awful, weird, unladylike stuff on social media. Offset is acting like a grown child on social media. They playing this tug of war on Twitter and Instagram. Nobody understands, like you said, the children are the ones that's suffering here the most. They looking at both of y'all. Is this how we supposed to? Is this what we supposed to be doing? She having sex with somebody while she pregnant. That's not the like shit is messy, bro. Now she's dealing with Stefon Diggs. We think they happy. Apparently, that's not the case here. I yield the mic, man. You if you want to add on to that or anything else.
No, I don't like it, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not the first person that said she ain't smell the best. But at the end of the day, I don't like it because if this is what you got to do to stay relevant, because at the end of the day, like what I'm thinking, her and Offset probably get along real good. It's WWE, bro. Like this dude made a clip where he said, yo, anybody trying to get their music out, stop putting music up. Put an argument with your girl. Put a fight. Put yourself crashing on the bike. Put yourself getting hurt. Put yourself. That's what people want to see. They don't want to hear about music. Whoop-de-whoop. They want to see you going through chaos, confusion, in order, and then they'll go look at your music. And if that's what we come to, bro, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking for them, it's like WWE. A lot of times we'll knock the girls for doing what we do. You know what I'm saying? A man can have bodies, as they say, but then when a girl do it, all of a sudden she's out of pocket. The way I see it is, first, a girl ain't gonna do nothing until you betray her. Then she gonna go do exactly what you do. Most of the time, if a girl do something, double cross somebody or something, it's something she learned from a guy. And then how can you expect a guy could sleep around, and then as soon as his girl want to do the same thing, now he ready to get rid of the whole world. It's a double standard, you know what I'm saying? And it's a double-edged sword. And they're at a point right now where at the end of the day, if you living off deals, I heard they said she was real frugal, so I'm hope she ain't having to borrow money. But they also said she takes care of her entire family, bro. So if you're taking care of your whole family, you paying their bills, you paying for their fun, then you got to stay relevant, especially if you doing it off in advance, which is big word for loan. You know what I'm saying? And we see this ain't nothing new, B. Like this ain't, it's just that now we can update everybody on what's going on every minute, every second of our lives. There's so many apps. They got app after app after app. And it's like, I bet they get along. You know what I'm saying? And even for homie, like when you look at these guys, a lot of them entertainers, a lot of them athletes and all that, they not even really hood dudes like that. They just do that when they get on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like that kid don't seem like he's from the streets. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I feel bad for them because here they go attempting to find some kind of normalcy. I don't care who it is, what it is. Everybody wants love. Everybody wants companionship. Even a person that loves being alone wants some kind of companion. A lot of times they just don't want to negotiate and compromise. You know what I'm saying? So with that, it's almost like as soon as you get to that level of stardom, you really can't have no relationship. And that's a problem because who does that impact? Us. We can't have no relationship with nobody. You can't get no money and have no relationship. And that's where I fall down the rabbit hole with the conspiracy and all that, because there's people that's feeding their whole family. They setting up generational wealth and all that. And I think that in this country right here, what's his name? J. Edgar Hoover said it. The last thing that we need, our biggest threat, is black unity. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I think that's just exactly what they want, the chaos and the confusion, right? But at the same time, to a certain extent, I think it's entertainment, because she did something last week, dropped a freestyle. It didn't seem like that blow up. They said she got an album coming. I ain't really seen bro Offset drop like since RIP Takeoff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's been dropping, but I haven't really seen. And the Bills lost. They lost the big game as usual. You know what I'm saying? So this is to me like, it's like wrestling, bro. Like, you know what, man? I'm gonna keep this popping. We got the eyes on us right now. It's boosting my streams. It's boosting everybody. What I'm hoping again is that in the house, everything is cordial. And I'm hoping that it doesn't derail their careers to where he could still ball. I seen Offset. I did see him in the movies, and that I'm happy for that. You know what I'm saying? Because he seemed like a real, seemed like a honest. I mean, they seem real, but the way they fought for each other and all that, it appears. So I'm hoping it's just something like, yo, you know what? We just keeping the bots trolling so that we can keep this going, and it's like advertising.
You know, two things that I want to highlight real quick. One, there was a conversation on another show where they spoke about how Caucasian communities and black communities build their wealth completely separate. They called it poor man's wealth or something like that. And it's like with the black community, we're loud. We have to be seen. Everything has to be on our face, on our body. We have to be in every camera. Our rims have to be shiny. We can be broke, literally broke, and take our entire check and fund social media, all because we want clicks and likes. Meantime, the Caucasian community, they look like they just don't have no fashion sense. We clown them about the way they come out the house with the penny loafers, the UGG boots, the plain little, like, we just completely roast them. Whole time they got properties, they got apartments, they got boats, they got stock. And on top of that, they don't have 20 different baby fathers and baby mamas. They might have 2 kids, if that. And they're the ones that's typically not highlighted on, oh, we need government assistance and such and such and such. But we still be out here trying to flex for people who ain't really thinking about us. They trying to figure out how to make their communities more safe, how to get rid of the problematic ethnicity. I say the black people, the Hispanics, all that. They're trying to get y'all up out of there because you bring down the value of the property with your ratchetness and all that shit. And I'm saying that because in my honest opinion, the way that we view life, what we value, what we appreciate, what we cling to, is completely separate than the rest of the world. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we always end up having Cardi B's. We always have Futures or people like Offset in circulation. We made them look popular. We made them look like they're more important than what they are. They're not leaders. They're not role models. But they make music that we can dance to, that we can drive to, you know. Now, as far as what you were saying about her coming out with an album, I did a reaction to this a few weeks ago where she's struggling with that because she's trying to prove to them, or she has to prove to them, that the money she's asking for is worth it. And they're not really too sold on it. So just like I addressed Nicki Minaj and I was saying, look, a lot of y'all, man, y'all did y'all thing. Y'all had a couple of albums that was hot. People were with you. They were dancing to your stuff. They recite your stuff. They go to your concerts. But everybody got their turn. Snoop, Ice Cube, Eazy-E, Run DMC, Rakim, KRS-One. Everybody eventually has to pass the torch to somebody else. You can't do this forever. At some point, you're going to have to call it quits. I think that if what you're saying is true and this is a publicity stunt, I think it's tacky. I think it's tasteless. I think it's irresponsible. I think that for you to be as old as you are, knowing that you have all of these eyes on you, to get up here, stage a fight, an argument that is not real because you're trying to get more attention. This ain't even just directed to her. To every single platform that utilizes this tactic, it's absolutely abhorrent to me. Why? Because what you're really saying is you don't give a shit about us. You know that we want the drama. It goes back to what I was talking about, the poor man mindset. You know that we like the ratchet stuff. We're programmed to enjoy pain and pleasure, and so on and so forth. That's what we spend our money on. So if this is what is happening, I'm definitely not for it. It's nothing positive about it. And one other thing I want to say too, and I'll give you the mic back. The BBL thing. That's another portion of this that I want to address too. Because you ladies out here, man, y'all keep on spending your money on this, man. And a lot of women, DC Young Fly, rest in peace. His wife, she lost her life to the BBL surgery. There was a transgendered doctor who was doing operations on people, and she is responsible for unaliving a few people from these operations. But I'm gonna stop there because I don't want you to lose your train of thought.
Oh no, you good. I'm writing. You keep going. I'm writing, y'all. I mean, all right, we got to look at the history of this country, right? It's not just us, bro. Like Caucasians, Eurasians, whatever. When you look, there's more Caucasians on welfare or Medicaid than any other culture. Yes, we have a high percentage of minorities on it, but ideally, which I think is a lie, we only represent 12 to 15% of the population. Overall, they talk about black on black crime. There's more Eurasian on Eurasian crime here than anywhere else. And then also, I just looked at a clip of Paul Mooney, rest in peace, Paul Mooney, where he said that throughout their whole culture, ever since media started, they support all types of chaos and confusion. And I'm gonna leave it here with that. Look who's in the White House. They just said the files that they were supposed to drop on this other guy all of a sudden disappeared. I look at Diddy. I feel like with Diddy, had you locked Diddy up, you would have had to lock up his handlers who had beaten charges up into the, you know what I'm saying? If you locked him up and you gave, especially with what he was dealing with, you have to go get everybody, you know what I'm saying? We look at their comic books, we look at their superheroes. All of their superheroes is criminals. They kill innocent people. Okay, I might have went to save somebody, but I knocked the building down. The building killed 10,000 people, but I got the enemy though. They glorify. You look on TV, Snap, 48 hours, the monster next door. Look at Element, bro. Lifetime Movie Network. You know what I'm saying? Like this is all of their stuff, right? But they have always managed to control the narrative, right? And what they know is that in other countries, especially when they're looking at Love and Hip Hop, when they're looking at Sinners, when they're looking at Belly, they're believing that because this is the only image they get of us. And when we looking at CNN, the only time a lot of times they show us is getting locked up. And it's crazy because the countries that I've been in, every country that I've ever been to watching don't even speak the language, bro. We was just in Panama, bro. They celebrated blackness all over CNN. The whole week, they celebrated blackness. When I was in Amsterdam before, they were celebrating blackness on the news. When we was in Amsterdam when Barack first won, and the Netherlands CNN was saluting Barack, showing how the economy improved under his leadership. But when we was back in America, the same news station said that all of it, everything got worse under him. We look at this situation now. Kamala Harris, not really a fan of her. I've learned to stop voting for people just because they have color or they're from the culture. I think a lot of her cultural thing was plays to try to get included. But whoever it was, and I really don't even, I'll tell you this much. I think presidents are chosen, not voted for. Whichever the case may be, instead of choosing her to be the #1 figurehead, because I don't think the president has power. They just represent whoever put them in office. I think they're puppets for them, whoever paid for them to get in. They'd rather have that guy. No matter what, to the point where they just flex their military might. But they'll say that this is not a communist country. Then they'll say, well, this is a democracy. And we know with democracy, majority of the business owners rule. Right? So people get it, we get into all of this, but the one thing that they kept from us is reading it out of a book. To this day, you want to hide something, put it in a book. Right? But when you look at cultures, is no way is any other culture more barbaric than this one right here, right? But they control the narrative. So with us, we have two problems right now. We have a lack of resources, which is on purpose, because anything that we've ever had, from Black Wall Street to Ocoee, Florida, to St. Louis, to the Detroit massacre, to the LA, anything that was fully controlled by people of color, Americans of African descent, was always burnt down, even to this day. They went after all of the billionaires. You know what I'm saying? Even to a certain extent, Bill Cosby was wild, but they said he was trying to buy the network. They said R. Kelly was trying to buy the network. Diddy was trying to start his networks and all of that. He said no to some people. Woo, woo, woo. They ain't come after Elvis. They ain't get at Hugh Hefner. You know what I'm saying? So with that, they have always depicted people like us in that nature. And that's what sells. So that's why I bring the WWE thing in it, because at this point right now, people want to be hood. They've always wanted to be black. But now, since the rap and all of that, and since the movies, the blaxploitation movies, people want to be hood until it's time to be hood. You know what I'm saying? So with that, with the music and all of that, I really don't knock it, because, bro, when I'm around teaching my people and all that, they really live like this. Like some of them, most of the entertainers is not living like that, but they're telling the stories about where they're from, if they're from that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I don't knock any expression, because at the end of the day, this is what was given to us. So like they say, pull up your bootstraps. How you supposed to lace up your own boots? I ain't have no laces in my. I ain't even have no boots, and in a lot of cases they ain't have no boots. So when people repeating what they know, it's only because they control the narrative. I don't think that we're doing anything worse than they're doing, or anything that they've done right now. Because even when you look last week, the young boy from Idaho just shot up the fire chiefs because they asked him to move his car. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they'll get on TV. I seen some a shootout in Philly. That's posted all over but I only seen one or two stories about that kid who had that standoff in Idaho for hours and killed. What happened to Blue Lives Matter? When you look at the January 6th joint, what happened to Blue Lives Matter? What happened to All Lives Matter? They killed police. You know what I'm saying? They killed, like that. To me, that was a whole game of catch the flag. But they got away with all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But if it was us, matter of fact, the week before that, I don't know exactly the timeline. My facts is a little off. But they said the guy in office went to march or somewhere to do his little thing. They was pepper spraying people and macing people and to push them back. They ain't do none of that for them. So I don't think that, this situation right here is nothing different. Now, as far as the BBLs, I heard it's unhealthy. It's a risk, especially if you don't have the right money. I was in Miami airport before. I heard a comedian say that you could see the girls bandaged up from head to toe, coming back and forth from the DR, coming from Mexico, coming from wherever they went to get right. And I don't like it, but also that's nothing new, bro, because who started that? And this is what they say, yo, they call Serena Williams a man, they call her a monkey, they call Michelle Obama a man, they call her a monkey. Bro, they've been the ones getting tans. They've been the ones getting lip injections. They started that, the implants and all of that way back in the days, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the people caught on to where, well, first, some people need them because they be sickly. So they might, if they have cancer or something and they can't grow, or they're having issues. But at the same time, they started that. I digress.
Yo, it's a lot to unpack. And to be honest with you, I believe all of it is systemic. All of it, every last portion of it. I agree. I do believe a lot of these men and women are chosen. It's hard not to believe that when you have women like Sexy Red and so on and so forth being representation for a generation of women who haven't even gotten out of the second grade yet, but they're dancing to the music. And it's crazy to me because you would think that if you had that nucleus, that two-parent household, they would tell you and warn you about what's out here. Once you leave them walls and you go to school and you get ready to deal with different personalities, the teachers and your elders, and I look at it like school, in hindsight, school was supposed to prepare you for life, a large portion of it. So in the household, you get the raw, uncut version of it. But in a sense, you kind of get, all right, let me rephrase that. You get raw, uncut, but you still get the filtered version of it. So depending on how you were raised and what your household looked like, I'll tell you, don't do this and don't do that, but I'm not telling you why. But as soon as you get outside on that sidewalk, everything that was said to you in the house, you find out there something completely different. You get the why out there versus in the house. And I think that's a huge disadvantage. Huge disadvantage to kids, especially us. I understand that completely. I followed my folks around. I was the shadow, but that shaded me from certain things. And I made a post earlier on Threads. I said humans. I said, matter of fact, I said, aren't y'all tired of the man versus woman argument? Every time you get on social media, man ain't this, women ain't this. She's a bop. She's a 304. Oh, he broke. He can't take care of me. He don't qualify. Y'all get tired of having that conversation. And my thing was, it don't matter how many times we talk about it. The fact of the matter is, we do it to each other. It's humans doing the same thing to humans. It's always been that way. Something you said earlier, I was trying to think about. It just came back to me. Women always were lustful and 304s, not all of them. And I say humans are the problem because we kind of forget that just as much as men get carried away with fetishes and lying and cheating, women do the same exact thing. You know what the difference is? They're women. You look at them, they're pretty. They don't look harmful, but they're just as dark, just as twisted. I watched a video on Instagram earlier today. The girl was at her side dude's house, right? I guess the boyfriend, the real boyfriend, tracked her phone because he had her location. Tracked her phone, pulls up to the side dude's house. The side dude, only speculation. I'm not sure if he knew who he was. Maybe it was just her lying to him acting as if she had no clue what was going on. Side dude goes to the door. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? He cracked the door open. She's right there next to him. Soon as the boyfriend tries to force his way into the house, side dude lets off, one to the head, rest to the chest, unalives him. I start scrolling, comment section. Somebody tells the story. The girlfriend was with the side dude. After the side dude killed the boyfriend, she went immediately to the boyfriend. She stood by him. She screamed out his name and all that. So she was stepping out on her dude with a side dude. Side dude killed the boyfriend. The boyfriend, he just trying to figure out what was going on, where she was. Come to find out, she wasn't even no better than the next person. And I say all that to say this. Whether or not the Europeans trained us this way or we trained ourselves this way, it's here. It's been here forever. And nobody seems to recognize the pattern. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. It's something that's been going on for decades, but we still seem to be stuck in that loop. You know what I'm saying? Cardi B and Offset had no business getting married. They had no business getting in a relationship. That's why I don't honor or have respect for a lot of social media. I don't have a lot of respect for celebrities. I don't idolize none of them. I think all of them go through the same things that we go through. It's just they cover theirs up. And on top of that, they're being used and manipulated just like the rest of us are. The BBL thing, that's an image thing. That's an image problem. That's a self-esteem issue. I don't think everyone is under like this severe illness where they're on their deathbed or they had chunks of their body removed from them, so they have to go through these procedures to feel good about themselves again. Now, if you're telling me that you got a BBL because you had ass cancer or some shit and they had to slice off both cheeks and then you had to like come on, like we got some of this is just a little too much, man. Y'all doing it because social media told you to do it. You're competing. You're competing with views. You're competing with numbers. You're trying to stay in relevancy, like you said. Cardi B, your music was good at one point. Maybe you're not where you used to be at anymore, and now it's time for you to find something else to do. Either way, the way that you Offset Stefon Diggs is moving is not becoming of black culture to me. Let me ask you a question. How much of this do you think is influenced by something outside of us versus this is something that we got to take ownership of, even though I think we have to either way, but
let me address some things first. You could be in the house and be a deadbeat. And a lot of times parents repeat whatever happened to them. Sometimes unconsciously, sometimes consciously. Some parents are found out don't like their children for whatever reason. And you're absolutely right that you're supposed to get the nitty gritty at home. But a lot of times either parents are too busy working, or they're saying, well, you know what, I ain't have it like this, or because I had it like this, I'm gonna spoil my child, I'm gonna let them do whatever they want, whoop-de-whoop. And when it comes to school, it took me years to realize, and this is what I try to teach my students every year, you're only here to find out what kind of business people you're going to become. It's a screener. To a certain extent, the school is there to teach us how to have a 9 to 5. Before they did the mass public schooling, when they first started it, people of color wasn't even included. One. Before that, when it was just for Caucasians, if they wanted a good education, they had to pay for it. You had to pay for an apprenticeship. You had to pay to send your kids away. Only God knows what was happening to them while they were sent away. So at the end of the day, also, you had to act out to portray yourself as somebody different, completely different. If you wanted to even get through school, or you wanted to get through certain industries, you had to become somebody totally different than who you were. And I'll give you an example of that. I was in the doctoral program at FSU, Florida State University. And I dropped out because it got to a point where I felt like they were academically hazing me. And it's my loss. I lost because I went through all of those years. I was there for like 6-7 years. I didn't come out with my doctorate in education, leadership, and policy. I wasn't mad though, because I would hear things like, if you plan on getting more than 2 to 4 hours of sleep a night, you're not gonna make it. I had a professor tell me, your dissertation is not over until your major professor is tired of reading it. I also felt like a lot of the people in the department that I was in were exceptionally prejudiced. And me knowing my roots, I felt like if I did stick in and got the degree, I would have gave up so much of myself that I would have like forgot where home is and forgot where I come from, who I represent. So when it comes to school, a lot of it is a screening process. And this is how they gauge us. And we know the different archetypes of the people where we come from that they allow in and they don't. Because after a while, it's not about grades. It's not even about talent. And I say that to bring it here. When you get to those levels, it appears that it doesn't become about talent anymore. It's not about who's the best, who works on a craft. It becomes, what are you willing to do to stay successful in this case? I met some people before who had different kinds of cancers, who had pieces of their breasts augmented, and they decided to get the implants to feel normal. Right? So now you're absolutely right. It's not everybody, but there are some people that needed it medically. But right now, cosmetically, people have realized that this is how I can get the attention I need. And in a lot of cases, this is how I can get the money I need. Right? So when we come to this point, I really don't knock nobody. I just hope they're successful, right? Because this is what they make it look like. They make it look like anybody could do it. Anybody could get to the top. All you got to do is work hard. Nah, we seeing that clearly. that's out the window. You know what I'm saying? So wait, ask your question again. I'm sorry, I'm tripping.
So now my question was, how much of this do you think is influenced by someone on the outside versus this is actually a singular cultural problem? Because as much as we exchange thoughts on this, I honestly look at it like, for one, it's systemic. Are they mimicking us and also killing us off by using flattery, also insulting us in the same token by allowing us the opportunity to expand with derogatory messages? Case in point, one European Caucasian translucent fellow, he's a producer. He admitted that he makes it a thing to get those artists more exposure with that type of music, because tactically it's going to affect a specific demographic of people. But you hear this and then it kind of goes out the window and you go on about your day. But in retrospect, if you look at these kids killing each other, these little girls on social media, they don't have nothing on. They don't have no respect for elders. No one has respect for each other anymore. Everybody is getting defensive when you attack the genre of music that is clearly destroying and rotting the brain. It's like, all right, so do you put this on one group of people, or do you say collectively that we are seeing this affect everyone because of an outside source?
To answer your question, I read the classic slave narratives, which was a book of supposedly true biographies as told by slaves and former slaves of what they had to endure during that 400-year period. Forgot who it was written by, but it's different authors or whatever, but it's a whole compilation. And one of the guys said that it was so bad as a slave that if you worked 20 hours, right, and they would say that you're a good slave. If you didn't want to work, they'll whip you and say you was lazy. If you worked 6 days a week and they gave you Sunday off, if you drank too much and went hard and had a good time and played, and you might even have a fist fight, they'll say you're a drug addict, an alcoholic, a troublemaker. But if you did something as simple as weed baskets and try to go sell your baskets in the market, you was an ungrateful slave. You should be happy with the money they gave you. Why are you trying to enterprise on a Saturday, on a Sunday? What is wrong with you? Why are you, if you cleaning shoes, if you fixing bikes, they say, what's wrong with you? Know what I noticed the whole time? Most of those slaves, especially the ones, I even read World's Great Men of Color, Volume 1, half of Volume 2. The one thing that all of those slaves had in common, they worked 16, 20, 22 hours, come home at night, tuck their family in. They was married too. A lot of times they try to make it look like they wasn't. They was married. They tuck their wife in. They tuck their husband in. They make sure all their kids eat. Everybody got enough food for bed. Clean up the house, and then spend the last 2-3 wee hours of the morning working on their craft. Right? And then you think about that from this country to France, where they've had African generals. They allow Africans to make it to general in France, but they've never allowed a true blood African to be the king. Generals, poets, politicians, all these people of color, right? But once they hit a certain level, they become ostracized, and most of them die with nothing. Then let's fast forward. NWA. We remember, I was just looking at a post like this. Hip hop in its truest stage was reporting what was happening in the streets and outcry against oppressors. Even NWA, the guy made it perfectly. Saigon, I seen an interview he did, the rapper Saigon, and he said NWA never talked about gangbanging. They talked about going against the police. They never talked about Bloods and Crips. You had KRS-One, like he said. And he said, I'm just repeating what he said. You had KRS-One, you had Queen Latifah, you had Public Enemy, you had Common Sense, Mos Def, Talib Kweli. In the early stages, hip hop was a tool used against oppression, but then you have Ice Cube came out some years later and said that the corporations realized how much money hip hop was getting. They began to buy up the companies, and they said, hey, we need to change the narrative. We're going to push these artists, and we want you to talk about. Even Meek Mill just said it a couple months ago. Artists get paid for certain content. Jay-Z said it. He said, I want to rap like Common Sense, but I can't make no money with that. So yeah, it's systematic. You know what I'm saying? It's cultural, but I feel like it's systematic because at the end of the day, every upheaval that our culture has ever had was stripped from us. As a matter of fact, this is the longest lasting culture that we've ever been able to maintain, it seems like to me, since, and I'm about to be 45. Because it sells, and at the same time, the powers that be are not going to have it any other way, because anybody that has really ever really done anything to uplift the Black community, because Black is a state of mind, as we see, anybody could be Black. And we watch other countries and all that. They emulate everything we do till it's time. Then they could change. Even we got the artists. When you look, I'll say his name, Post Malone. He came in Black as day. Now he country. You know what I'm saying? But the conspiracy to sell that to influence, yeah, I believe that's pretty much. And at the end of the day, regardless of what, when we look at the cultural thing, drama sells, bro. If you listen to country music, what is that? If you listen to rock and roll back in the days, grunge rock, when they what was that? That was against the government. Right? Who was that? Who was that? Rage Against the Machine and all that. Who was that? Pink Floyd. Who was they singing about? They was singing about their own people. You know what I'm saying? Like they was starting for their own people. But when they do it, it's allowed. Why? To me, because that's your children, that's your cousins, that's your aunts. So you can't just wipe them out. But for this culture over here, who we've had our foot on their necks for so long, why not keep it? And then like you said, with the devil thing, making you think that it don't exist, you would think, well, it's not like that no more. People should get over it. No, it's still like that in every household too. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, again, you have some parents that are parenting and they're teaching to where when those kids get outside, they are able to acknowledge and say, you know what, I was told this might happen, boom, 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 I can make a choice. And then you have those other parents who, they might be too busy. They might have had problems where they're just like, yo, you know what, you got to fend for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And with that, with our culture, what is rewarded, right? We talked about this last week. You could come home, get your doctorate, go right back to your projects, and they'll be like, yeah, all right, oh, you think you're smart. But do a 20-year bid. It didn't snitch. Bro, they throwing you a whole block party. You know what I'm saying? And to a certain extent, here's the reason why I don't knock them, bro. Here's the reason why I don't knock them. You've been in schools. You from that area. You know what type of cookie cutter person a lot of these schools try to turn you into. And I think that in a sense, a lot of people realize like, yo, school ain't helping us. Right? Because at the end of the day, unless you come like an engineer, a pharmacist, a lawyer, a lot of it, you know what I'm saying? I hate to say, listen, I'm an educator. I hate to say it. A lot of times it's a waste. You wasting time, you wasting up. You know what I'm saying? You're going to school for certain things. It's just like, all right, you know, and for me, shoot, my 4 years and my bachelor's is in sociology, bro. I really couldn't do nothing with that. I had loans up the wazoo. I had to go back to get the guidance and counseling to solidify a career for myself. So I said that to say, how many people you know got degrees and can't do nothing with them, and then triple that by people like us who stuck to our culture. Yeah, I don't glorify misogyny and all of those things. I don't. When people see them getting paid though, and you know it's only entertainment, what they gonna do? A lot of times in these cases, what you gonna do? Like we could say, yo, people gotta tighten up, blah blah blah. If this all you know, or this is what you've been pushed through, at the end of the day, when it comes time to have to feed your family, in a lot of cases, what you gonna do? So for CARDI them, yeah, oh yeah, I think a whole lot of it is an influence, because if you took those advances and you gotta produce, they're gonna when that music. Listen, I didn't know, and I'm gonna give you the mic back. They told me when I started rapping 8 years ago, I was 36. They said, all you gotta do is make one good song, B. You good. I made one good song. They came back and said, yo, now you gotta make a good video. All right, I made one good video. Now they like, oh, you need a website. All right, yeah, I'm working on that. Whoop-de-whoop. And then it's, oh, you need $400,000 to get your song on the radio for you. Bro, if I had $400,000, I wouldn't be rapping. You know what I'm saying? That'd be in the bank. I give myself allowance. I'm chilling right now. And I'm going to work just because I want to help my people get out the hood. I'm going to still work. I'm going to just pay myself allowance. So when I'm finally on vacation, I can do whatever I want. And still save some, because I know rainy days. And I'm working on generational growth, right? So when you say that, all right, these people make all this money. They made all this money. Even Stefon Diggs, his salary is alone because he could be cut any day. If he don't produce, if he get injured, if he get canceled, all that's over. So I think 99% to 100% is influenced by the outside. I better do something to keep these clicks going, because once that money dry up, it's a wrap.
I can absolutely see it. I mean, it's all business at the end of the day. I mean, if you're trying to maintain a certain type of lifestyle, most people will sell their soul. You'll betray your family, you'll betray your friends, you'll leave your boyfriends, your girlfriends. If somebody offered you the right amount of money right now and they told you you can have it all you got to do is X, Y, and Z, most people will do it. I am very disappointed in our people specifically because when I scroll up and down my timeline and I'm watching you argue with another person that is melanated like yourself, you saying, shut your BA up and you a hoe and you this and you ain't shit and this and your mama. And when I read comments like that, I can understand why someone of a different background would look at what we're doing and say, yeah, they're simple. They're gullible. They'll believe whatever we say and whatever we put out here. All we got to do is put it in some fancy ass font, give you a nice header, let the lettering look sweet, let it be professional looking, throw on a suit and tie, have a goofy ass haircut with white gray hair, stand in front of a podium for 5-10 minutes and use a bunch of lingo that they don't understand because all they know is ass, shut up, and all that loose. And we got it. It's simple. It's pretty. It's like a cookie cutter blueprint on how to keep these N words under our control for as long as we want. But we're going to allow them to think that they have some type of power or some type of real freedom. The real freedom is working for yourself. The real freedom is escaping this matrix that we're under, thinking that supporting trash content is the way to go. But that's neither here nor there. Cardi B, I look at Cardi B, Stefon Diggs, and all of these people, and I'm like, man, if you put a black man or a black woman in their position, they got common sense. I put myself in this position. I said it the other day. 2 hours, 4 albums max. 4 albums max. I'm done. With 4 albums, you can give the population the best content of you while you're in your prime, and then you can bow out gracefully. Take 7 years off, 10 years off, do one more, no more. Venture off into something else. Because what you don't want to do is oversaturate yourself. You don't want people to get tired of you. They're gonna start saying, "Oh, you trash. You can't. He ain't got it no more. Oh, they should have stopped doing this. Now they no. Take your money, invest it in other hobbies that you have. Because I know rapping or painting is the only thing that you enjoy doing. Invest it in something else so that it keeps making you money. Also, your diehard and core fans will still be with you even after your career in the music industry is over with. A lot of these artists ain't smart. You get the fame, you get the fortune, you start intermingling with these men and women, you partake lustfully, you get to have sex with whoever you want to, but not understanding that there are elements to intermingling your spirit with other spirits who are operating from oppression. You bring birth to drama, to lies, to rumors, to gossip, to people picking sides on who's right and wrong. You get all of this stuff when you start messing with people that you shouldn't be dealing with. So much shit come with being famous, being popular, being an influencer. So now Cardi B got children with somebody that what she can't get along with, but you open your legs up to him multiple times and had children with him. And now on top of that, you think that with the way that your mind is wired, that getting back at him by sleeping with other people is the way to go? Is that what an adult do when things don't work out with someone? So as an adult, if I fall short or I fall out with my woman, things don't go the way that I want them to. I'm supposed to play tit for tat. That because that's the mature thing to do. And then I'm supposed to get on TikTok and Facebook, and I'm supposed to go live with y'all. I'm like, yes, girl, yes, bitch. I sure as hell did. I fucked his best friend. Yep, I sure. I'm supposed to get online and do all of that. That's me showing you that I got the upper hand, that I'm the bigger person, that I'm the adult here. Right. That makes perfect sense. Same trash ass mentality over and over and over again. And we wonder why we don't get anywhere. But you rich. So because you're Stefon Diggs and you play in the NFL, or you're Offset and you're a rapper, or you're Cardi B, that means that's justifiable. Your actions and your attitude, the way you talk, the way you walk, what you put on the internet, the way that you communicate and articulate your grievances and deal with problems, all of this is supposed to come off to the viewers as mature, or this is the representation of Black culture. This is how we combat the manipulation and the propaganda that is set against us. Right. How does it feel? You got a BBL, and I just wanted to add this too. You got a BBL that, based on my research, when they take portions of you and put it in your behind, those cells die. They're dying. They're constantly dying. That's where the stench comes from. It's the death of cells that were removed from one portion of your body to the other portion of your body. And that shit is creating that stench. Yet you continuously want to get operations on you. You want to continue to alter your face and your nose and your jawline and all that. Yeah, we fried, bro.
Bro, I look at it like this, and I know it's almost time to close. I'm gonna go in no particular order. I wrote some things down. I remember Marilyn Manson was biting bird heads off on stage. Ozzy Osbourne was wild. Bring it up to Jackass. Look at what they was doing. Shoot, a couple of them died. Rest in peace. Right? We love that. You know what I'm saying? Make me think back in the days, the Three Stooges, they ran around and hurt each other all day. You know what I mean? Like Miley Cyrus going crazy, still put out a hit, whoop-de-whoop. I think with the entertainment, with our people, a lot of times we forget the person element of those our people, all celebrities, regardless celebrity culture. We forget the person element of those people who are reaching out for love. who are in need of attention. Sometimes just need a hug, need a little therapy. And what I do commend CARDI and Offset is that they tried. Could have even been for business. But they try, at least because, see, our culture, I wouldn't have did that. I wouldn't have did that. You'll never know. That being what a lot of things that stop us from moving forward. We won't try stuff. And if they had a thing, you know what I'm saying? At the beginning, that's dope, because at the end of the day, strip all of that, the money, the superstardom, this and that, strip all of that. They are people, bro, and they might have bonded. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate that it got to come out like that. You got me thinking about Remy and Pat Poose, for those who don't know the rapper. They was like the epitome of black love for all these years, and then now look, you know what I'm saying? And I just felt bad, because at the end of the day, you know what? That sells for us. And unfortunately, a lot of times for us, that's the only thing that we are able to sell. And this is where I get a little upset with our culture. But see, I study history, so I know it's programmed. But here's where I get upset, because with all this technology, TikTok, whoop-de-whoop now, we say we know what's going on, but we don't act on it, right? Our culture is the only ones that class itself. Oh, you can't rap, you 44. It's time to hang it up. Now, you're right about the run, because I know a guy, shout out Diddy Boo. He was in the Diddy joint, making the band. And he said he noticed a lot of time. He told me when he was out there, artists get a 4-year run. Once you sign that deal, you get a 4-year run. After that 4 years, if you can't find a way to reinvent yourself, it's time to just, you know what I'm saying, go on, do construction or whatever it is you started. You know what I'm saying? So you're absolutely right as far as the 4 albums. You ideally, you do your thing, you bow out, get out of Dodge. Especially too, what they forget, because this is what's happening. This is what happens, especially with our people. A lot of times, people are forgiven for talents, and we could be pieces of crap. And we forget that until we find out, and then now we want to do something about it. But we don't hold that other side accountable like we hold each other accountable. So I say that to say we don't support each other, and that has been systematically removed from us as far as creating generational wealth. We can't even live together. And you're from the city. By the time you turn 14, 15, you probably get kicked out. Other cultures don't kick their family out. Other cultures live 10 people to a 2-bedroom house. Everybody works. They all pay the bills. They go get another one. They do this. They send their kids to be engineers. Woo-de-woo. We're the only ones, but this has been taken from us. We cannot deny that's what's been taken from us. But in 2025, with all this knowledge, a lot of times we can look at each other and say, I know what's going on, but we still follow the same patterns. And we say, well, what else you want me to do? And then we say something like, well, God want us to do. And I think that Bible has a lot to do with it. If you don't take it to a higher level of understanding, it could also be poisonous if you're not interpreting it correctly and realizing that there's books missing. There's a lot of that. So you got the government against you. You got the religions against you. You got the media against you. You can't get a loan. You can't get a house. When they integrated the schools, they ruined the schools. When it was time for integration, they took all of the factory jobs, which was allowing us to create generational wealth. Every single obstacle has been built against us, and to a certain extent where people could look at you like they know, yeah, I know it should be like this, but I got to get up and go to work tomorrow. And I don't knock them because they have to take care of their families and pay bills. This is where I do get a little upset, though, like what you said. Why can't I perform at 50? They ain't say nothing to Sting. They ain't say nothing to Guns N' Roses. They ain't say the Beach Boys, RIP to the guy just died. They be 80, 90 years old, packing stadiums.
Bang, 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 bang.
Why? Because their people support them. A lot of them can't even sing, bro. They don't care. They gonna come. They coming to your show. You know what? You know, matter of fact, they know, man, that's a piece of crap. I know him from the hood, but you know what? He doing his thing. We'll buy his book. We'll go see his movie. It could be the garbagest movie in the world. They still gonna pour, and we don't do that. Everything, and a lot of it is because the next person is scared to venture out, so they don't want to be embarrassed. And people are telling, don't try that, da 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 da. But bro, I'm 45. I want to see Nas perform. I can't wait. That's bucket list. I would love to see Jay-Z perform. That's bucket list activities. You know what I'm saying? I want to see them in next. Why can't we? You still nice? If you, this is why I still rap regardless, bro. I wake up and rap to myself for an hour, 2 hours every morning, and it's really just talking to myself, but then I put it in rhyme form, right? So I might lose a leg, I might lose an arm, but I'm gonna still have bars. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, if this is something I want to do, and why can't I do it versus them? If they could do it, they could do it till they die. They could die on stage, and they'll say, "Oh my God, he gave his life for. We're gonna pour into the." We gotta die to go viral. They be viral ups and downs. They put their whole stuff on. So with that, I don't like how we class ourselves out of stuff because we feel like it's uncool or whatever. To me, that's just fear of the unknown and also being stuck in patterns that you don't want to do the work it takes to get past. And then the last thing I'm gonna say, are they really rich? Like, we look at artists a lot of times. Shout out my brother Regs, big brother, my real big brother. He tells me all the time, he called me, he said, yo, you gotta chill out. And I said, what you mean? He said, I see you real emotional all the time. You be bugging out. And I'm like, what you mean? He's like, yo, you know you live better than most rappers. And I'm like, what? Nah, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, they get money. He's like, bro, they took loans, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're doing this, you're doing that. You may not be where you want. You may not be able to take everybody out the hood. You may not be able to take everybody to Jamaica. But guess what? If we need you, you'll be there. And you don't live on nobody else's dime. Nobody's calling you. And it took me years to realize, you know what? Bro, if I took somebody loan right now, I probably have to be in the studio right now. I already worked today. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? I get to go to bed. I think that's what drove Kanye a little mad because it's Christmas Eve and you know, they like, yo, I need a beat. Well, I want to hang out with my children. It's Christmas Eve. You know what I'm saying? I did all that hard work. Ooh, man, if you don't come in, you breach a contract, we suing you. Christmas Day. I need a beat. Hold on, man. I just worked for you, man. And that, what they call that perpetuity or whatever, I think that's eating us a lot. And that makes me think, are they really rich? Because at the end of the day, like you said, look at the evolution of Jay-Z. When the first one, he looked like Mr. T, right? And now if you see him, he might only have a little watch on. You don't even know. The biggest trick I seen one time, we went to Saks Fifth Avenue, New York City. They had the Louis shirts, the Louis t-shirts, regular material, just like this, $500-600. No monogram, no label, no nothing. Suits, $7,000 for a regular 2-piece suit. No monogram, you don't even know what it is, $7,000. And I'm just sitting here like, yo, who can afford this first? And then when they got that on, they not. If, like you said, we get it, you gotta have the LV. I gotta have the LV and Hughes letters so everybody can know I've caught this. And that's a self-esteem thing. And that we have yet to get over. But what I challenge our people to do is support each other, We got to start supporting each other. And we got to remember that celebrity or not, they are people. And they need love too. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we can't get too caught up in it because we know that sells.
I was under Tia Mowry's post earlier, and that particular post, she was essentially saying, "Oh, y'all said I'm out of my prime. I'm old. I'm not going to find love again, and this, that, and the third." Knowing that she broke up a happy home, I mean, she didn't have a real reason to break up her home. Let's call it spade a spade. She got bored and she wanted to leave. And I'm scrolling under the comments. Nothing but blue checks, damn near. I see people like Serena Williams and shit like that. All of them are telling her she did the right thing, and it might not seem like much to you, but the difference between that blue check and a regular commenter is that regular commenter is going to tell you what the hell it really is. And the regular commenters, they were lighting her ass up, bro. I'm like, man, you stupid as hell. Go back to your husband. You broke up a happy home for what? Because you wanted to be in the street. That's all you saw from them. The ones with the blue checks, even Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer said, "Girl, you graduated and such and such and such and such. You do what's right for you and all." Y'all lying in her face. Y'all lying to her. You know damn well she fucked up. You think I want to sign up for that? I don't want to be around none of y'all. Y'all full of shit. Y'all not going to tell me the truth. And that's a part of the game that I don't wish upon anybody.
You know, misery love company, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think the grass be greener, and the good thing is that if she was wrong, she see the error in her ways, and hopefully, you know, there's another chance. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I am a product of a million chances. Very lucky, exceptionally lucky to be sitting where I am. And even right now, I'm seeing it right now, just looking at the camera, like, look, bro, like I came such a long way, bro, because my behavior before was unbearable. You know what I'm saying? So again, I don't care if they put $1 billion trillion on me. First thing, I ain't gonna sit up here and act like I'm Mr. Clean. Second, I'm gonna always be pro-black to the state of mind. You know what I'm saying? I don't care because I know what's up. And then third, I'm gonna always see if I can help through my mistakes, through my triumphs or whatever. I'm gonna see if I could drop something on somebody to help them solve their problems, because I remember having nothing. I remember feeling like nothing. And again, when you get to those points, God forbid, you still got bills to pay, right? Because at that, then it becomes a free fall. I need clickbait. Like I had to get like I had to reprogram myself every morning and say, hey, you came to sell records. I could care less about fame. I don't want nobody hiding in my bushes. I don't want to be around 40, 50 people I don't like every day. I barely want to leave my house. I love my home. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be separated from my wife. I don't want to have to trade my relationship for money. I noticed, and I think that my saving grace is that I already did my stupid stuff before rap, before, you know what I'm saying, the world caught on. And I hope that if I do hit levels, that saves me, because for the most part, most of the time when I've been rapping, I've been clean. So if you want to judge me just on rap, then on the music or whatever, because I could care less about, like, this is why I'm so grateful I was outside before social media too, because I'd have been done. The economic aspect of what it looks to be, it appears that I can do something that I enjoy doing and be able to take care of my entire family, current and future. But if it has to come to all of that in my head, the last thing, and I'm glad that I have a hustler mentality, a business spirit. I'm not the best businessman, but if it comes to that, hopefully I'll be able to say no, to where if I have to degrade myself, demean myself, lower myself, do stupid stuff in order to keep it going, because I borrowed this person's money or I set it up. Because you know, a lot of times the more money you make, the more money you spend. So, and then a lot of times you also think that whatever got you that money, you'll be able to do forever. I'm going to be able to do this forever. And like you said, clearly it doesn't happen. But I hope that nobody is ever put in that situation where, hey, if you want to keep this thing going, you have to do something, let's say, strange for some change. And we know at the end of the day that that's a lot of the culture. Sure as the movie producer did all of that for all of them years, got off for all of them years, and still asking to get out. You know what I'm saying? Because we know the culture is, if you want to get this, this is what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'll pray for celebrity or not, whoever, that if they needed to fix their body so they could feel good, or they doing it so they could feed their family. I really don't knock no way, especially if you're starving, because at the end of the day, I keep it like this. They just passed a big, beautiful bill. So a lot of those people that just voted for the guy with the big, beautiful bill just got their food stamps cut. They got their Medicaid cut. They lowered the taxes or whatever for the rich people. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like, this is, you know what I mean? So for our people scrabbling, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate. And what I would urge is, and I don't know if I could even say that for the influences and all of that, because this I want to say this too before we go. Our people, they don't just spend money. If you buy my record, a lot of times you want to see inside my house, and that's a problem. That's a problem for me. If you buy a bundle of hair from me, you want to see my lady. You want to see every single thing I'm doing. No other culture does that. But with us, if I spend $1 on you, I need to know what time you left, what you ate, what color drawers you wear. Like, that's weird to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Like, oh, I bought your album for $10. I want to see everything. I want to see where you take your kids to school. Like, yo, my kids can't even be off limits. No, I don't see no other culture doing that. Like, yeah, and at the same time, I see them doing it, but economically, they don't do that. They follow their favorite stars. They wait in the bushes. They wait in the hotel room. But I don't think they push them to that, to where you got to be suicidal, or they let them have their privacy all the time. I see them when people die or whatever. They be like, yo, let us have our privacy. The fans back off. They could make 20 wrongs. The fans still support them. It's us where it's like, if I did any, because you know the first thing, why would I support you anyway? You're already here. I'm struggling. And I think they require too much of these people, besides looking at them as holy figures or whatever, in innocence. Just because you buy a person product don't mean you get the glimpse, you get to look and dictate their personal life. We don't do that to Aki on the corner. We don't do that to the Chinese food stores. We don't do that to the Italian places. We don't go in none of them. We don't go in none of them. We don't do that to the gas station and say, yo, you know what? We done made y'all rich. We done put y'all kids through college for years. Y'all, oh, what's up? We don't do that. We only do that with us. If I buy your product, man, you owe me something. You got to, and that need to stop. We need to stop that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got a person, if you got people, I ain't even gonna say me, but if you got people that's out here doing good and they clean and their face is clean and they serve and they doing the best, we need to support them. We need to stop that. Yeah, I gave you $20. I need $10 back. I spent $15 on you. You got to give me $11. Like what, man? We don't do that to nobody else, man. We don't do that.
Cut it out.
Cardi B, this final portion, I want to have a conversation with Cardi, Stefon, and Offset, and then we'll conclude. First and foremost, I want to say shout out to everybody that's watching right now. Thank you for tapping in with us. Shout out to Rob. Cardi B, you are a grown woman. I don't give a shit about your fame. I don't care about your following. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about none of that. When I look at you, you are a human being. You eat, sleep, and shit just like me. And your behavior, the way that you handle business, the way that you parent, the way that you handle publicity, the way that you move and operate as a woman is not acceptable. Don't get it twisted. I'm going to address the other two as well. See, you got to understand something. You have a responsibility to every single eye and ear who took time out of their life to invest in you. You have a responsibility to your record label. You have a responsibility to your craft. You have a responsibility to your children to ensure that they grow up with the most optimal opportunities given to them. What does that instill? What does that look like to you? What does that world look like to them? What is it that you want them to see, emulate, represent? You know, just like the rest of us who has had God represented in their life, that what you're doing and how you're moving is unacceptable. I'm not here to pass judgment. You're going to do what you're going to do, just like the rest of us. Your taste in men is trash. The things that you look for in a husband is not working. You need to go back to the drawing board. There are things within you that needs to be addressed and only you and God and whoever you decide to confide in, they're the only ones that's going to be able to identify the issues that you have, because the way that you move is not what a man wants out of a wife. Men don't want women who are competing. Men don't want women who are operating from a double-minded place. Men do not want women who are playing both sides of the fence. You love God, but you want to live like a demon. Men don't want that. Men don't want women with prosthetic body parts. Your character, your attitude, your spirituality, the message that you put out here, all of that matters. And from where I'm looking, everything that's happening around you is a representation of what is going on internally. Now, let me go ahead and address Offset. Offset, you are no different, sir. Don't know how you were raised. I don't know what you believe in, but I know that you are operating in the same matter as a lot of fallen black men in jail or in the grave. Your responsibilities as a leader to show that you are a righteous man of God. You don't give anybody that impression that you walk that line at all. Very deplorable. All these black kids dead, little girls dead, kidnapped, trafficked. What do you do to prevent more men growing up reflecting your messages? What are you doing to fix your house, to make sure that your children don't repeat the same cycle that you and CARDI are doing right now? Because let me tell you something. Most of us are representations of generational curses that never got broken. We're scarred and we're trying to escape that stuff that our parents and their parents left for us. All that baggage, they dumped it on us. Now we're the one that's paying for it. Something has to give, sir. You and CARDI are handling this poorly. Stefon Diggs, not very becoming. You guys got all this money. Y'all make all of that money. Y'all can't find anybody outside of Hollywood to date. Matter of fact, what is it about you that make y'all unlovable? What is it going on with y'all where you're constantly getting passed around and you're dealing and dabbling with multiple people all day, every day? You can't even, most of y'all can't even stay in a happy partnership for a week or a month. Angela Simmons has been with like 20 men in the last 10 years or so. She has dated a guy within a year or 2 years apart. What is it about y'all that y'all can't seem to get it right? Because clearly it's you and the environment that you're in. But I'm not going to keep going on. I can do this forever, but we got to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say, y'all got to do better. We got to do better. We do got to support each other more. We got to stop with the narrative, stop arguing in the comment section, talking about what we should be doing, and just do it. I think we would get a lot further ahead if we started actually taking action you know. But shout outs to everybody that pulled up. Rob, again, salute to you, man. We live every week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Some of you might be watching from Twitter. Some of you might be watching from Facebook or X. I'm used to saying Twitter. Rumble, Kick, I'm on everything, but primarily on YouTube. So if y'all want to tap in and stay in touch with us, you know where to find me. Like, share, subscribe. It's free. And I hope you guys have a blessed week. Is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Just want to say, man, remember these people are celebrities. Let's get our own houses in order, man. You know what I'm saying? And there's entertainers, just that. If we don't teach our kids nothing else, let them know the difference between entertainment and real life, so that if they become whatever they become, they're able to navigate better.
100. Y'all take it easy, man. We up out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow, Lord willing. Oh yeah, one more thing.
Oh. And shout out Sydney. We miss you, Sydney.
Exact 100.
All day.
See you on the flips.